A2Z across LC with your hosts, Jeff Alsman and Cody Zidway.
And welcome to another edition of the A2Z across LC podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Alsman, and I have no excuse for what's sitting next to me.
You're welcome.
Here we are. Of course, we are close to Halloween and the Halloween season, and here you are, all
What's
decked
Halloween
out.
got to do with it?
You just like dress up all the time?
I was dressing up because my favorite coach, Isaac Moore's on this show.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you guess who I am?
I know who you are.
Who am I?
Well, you're Maui.
You're welcome.
I don't. I wasn't expecting this. I'll say that.
I got my
much.
hook and everything.
Yeah, you got a pretty large.
This
hook.
is if you get a little long today, right off the stage. Right off the stage.
So I get blamed for being long-winded.
I'm just going by the feedback.
Producer
let him like that one. He's laughing. That's a good one.
I've got his microphone turned off, so he can't comment on anything. Well, welcome back. You weren't here last week.
I was on a boat.
You're out looking for your costume, probably.
I was
sailing one of the seven seas.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
me, Moana, Tafiti. I think my wife's gonna be mad if I forgot that. We were out trick or treating.
It's been a while since I've seen that also, so I'm not.
I would say that, but we watch it every other day at my house, so
you have no excuse. You should know.
I should. And on November 27th, my birthday is Moana 2.
Oh, really?
So shout out SJ, baby girl. We're going to the show on my birthday.
I wasn't aware there was going to be what do you call it? A sequel? A sequel. Yeah. Yes.
There is. I'm fired up about it.
Well, you'll have to get another outfit for that. Surely he won't be
I might just go like this again.
If you do, I want your wife to take pictures.
I have some pictures.
I don't want to see
of us trick or treating if you want.
After the show.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Yes.
What's our show about today? No, are you going to talk about events? You going to ask me about athletics?
Well, I'm going to. If you give me a second, you talk about being long-winded. We can't even get started.
I don't know how Isaac does this, man.
We'll ask him.
You know when he's in there coaching, he's like, "Get on the line right now! Get on the line! That is not the play."
He does get pretty animated.
He does.
I will say this, and when he finds out what you've done, he's gonna be.
I can't wait to see his reaction. He hasn't seen me. Only a couple of coaches have seen me.
Well, he'll be on in our third segment today. Our women's basketball coach, Isaac Moore. We've got a segment with a couple of students coming up from a couple of the clubs and organizations. We're going to talk about the newly revamped Paramedicine Program here at Lewis and Clark.
Since I'm on the show, we're going to do a sing-along? You know, those Disney classics?
Sing-along requires more than one singer. Oh. So my guess would be...
Should we ask the guest if they can sing along?
Well, when they come in, if you want to put them on the spot and run everybody out of the room, that's up to you. I just scare them off. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Okay. Anything could happen on our show, and often does.
It does.
Let's take a real quick rundown at some of the events that are coming up, and because one of them is an athletic event, and I'm sure you're going to want to touch on that.
I'm just impressed right now. You're talking to me like serious, like I'm sitting here. I love it. I'm looking me right through that hair into the eyes. I like it.
Hey. I'm used to you being
goofy,
a character when you're here. So let's talk a little bit about the Lewis and Clark Art Faculty Exhibition that is ongoing and through November 16th at the gallery. Now you got to listen closely, because if you want to come out Monday through Friday, it's 10 to 4. If you come out on Saturdays, it's 10 to 2. So a little bit different time there. And then we've got the NJCAA Division I Regional 24 Men's Soccer Tournament coming up this weekend. Lewis and Clark plays Swick in one of those for the final, I think, correct? Is that one of the things you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I just want to say there's two teams, right? So you win the regional on the women's side, but you have to travel to Iowa. Right. Tell me how that one works.
Right.
But anyway, so we're heading to Iowa on Friday to play a big game against Iowa Western, so in their home park. And then, of course, what you mentioned, men's soccer on Saturday here at Glazebrook. So yeah, pretty exciting.
So that should be a big one. And then if they win the next weekend, we're also hosting the district tournament.
We have that. We keep winning. It's almost all the way there.
Yeah.
Free run. So
we wish our men's and women's soccer folks well as they're wrapping up season play. Volleyball too, getting ready to start the postseason tournament play. You're right around the corner. And then we get right into basketball, which we're going to talk about a little bit more this afternoon before we're gone. There is also a Native American history presentation that is going on November 7th. That'll be at 11 o'clock in the Ann Whitley Olin Theater here on campus. And then we have a Veterans Day celebration. It'll be the day after Veterans Day because we're gone for Veterans Day. That'll be from 12:30 to 2:30 in the Allmeyer Atrium, otherwise known as Trimpe 141. That's on the 12th from 12:30 to 2:30. And then I do want to mention on the 14th, we've got the Lewis and Clark Industrial Careers Open House. That's down at the LeClaire Room on the Nelson campus, and that's at 4 o'clock. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on for the next couple of weeks here on our campuses. If you have any questions or you want to go farther than that and look at the calendar and find other events, you can go to events.lc.edu and you can search the public calendar there. And you can drop us a line anytime by email if you have comments about our podcast or want to be on the podcast. Just A2Z podcast at lc.edu. And just before we take a break and then come back with our first segment, wanted to mention and thank. Hey, we got some fan mail this weekend. We got a big thank you from the Alton Police Department. If you didn't see our last segment, you might want to go back and watch it. It featured law enforcement, the Alton Police Canine Program. We made a presentation to Officer Averback and did a memorial for Canine Odin and got a really nice thank you letter from them. So we want to thank them for taking time to do that. And they included the entire Lewis and Clark family. So just something that I wanted to mention, something they didn't have to do, and they did for us and for the family here at Lewis and Clark. So thank you very much for that. So
thank you.
If you missed that, like Cody did, you might want to go back and that was a dig, by the way. You might want to go back and watch our last episode. I know he was out looking for his costume, so it's a legitimate excuse why he wasn't here for our last episode. So do you want to take us out like Maui would, or do you want to just?
I don't know how Maui would take us out.
Well, just take us out.
Should I sing it? No.
We are
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been a process operator. Yeah, my path could have been in graphic design.
Welcome back. It's the A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here. Maui is with us as well today. And we are joined for this segment by Sean Hultz. He is the coordinator of the LC Paramedicine Program, and we're going to find out what that is. It's a program that we've had for a while, and it's kind of being rejuvenated. And
you're welcome.
Yes. And we're going to let Sean tell us all. Sean, welcome to the A to Z Across LC podcast.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been on a few podcasts, but never one with the Disney characters.
I've never been on one.
It's very special.
You and I both. Special's one word for it, for sure. That's right. So, Sean, tell us about the program. What exactly is paramedicine?
So there's a differentiation between EMT and paramedic. When you get into the field of EMS or emergency medical services, typically start off as an EMT, and that's a semester-long class. And a lot of folks after that get a little bit of experience working on the ambulance or in the emergency room, and then go into becoming a paramedic like you see on the TV shows. And so a big differentiation between that is that paramedic school is over a year long. The college actually offers an associate's degree program too. In the paramedic program, they learn about advanced airway management, different medications, cardiology. So there's a lot more biology and pathophysiology in it. And, we have a lot of resources here. The college, I was kind of blown away by the equipment that we have. So it's going to be a great program. The program will start January 21st, and classes will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it's an all-day course. The first couple hours is basically lecture time, and then we have a little bit of a lab, and then they go into their second lab component, which is going to be skills, where they practice the skills they'd use out in the field.
So is this like CPR on steroids, or is it totally different than like a CPR training session?
That's a good way to say it. Yeah, it's kind of like CPR on steroids. Another thing, too, that paramedics don't get a lot of credit for is the medical aspect of it. So we become experts at patient assessment. I like to tell my students, you can learn a lot from someone by walking in the door and just looking and listening. People will tell you a lot more with their body language than they would with their words. And so they become experts at differentiating and trying to figure out what's actually wrong with somebody.
Cody, is that something that your coaches have to have, or that you have to have as some type of certification, since you're around student athletes all the time as well, as far as the CPR part of it?
Yes, we do. It's very important always to know. Really, tell you the truth, it's always in the back of your mind before you start any practice or game and all that.
Yeah.
So
I used to be a trainer and was also trained in CPR and did some training for Red Cross. And you can't have enough people that need to have the knowledge, because you never know where you're going to be when you might need it, even when you don't anticipate it at all. But it sounds like what you're talking about is for those who really want to take the next step and go into that profession beyond just being someone who's trained on the sidelines.
Sure. They do take CPR. That's a requirement to get into the program, as well as to have an EMT license. But throughout the program, then they'll take advanced cardiac life support, that would be your CPR on steroids.
Okay.
And then there's a pediatric class they take for pediatric patients. They have a lot different, cardiac system. And so they learn about taking care of children as well.
Is there a lot of equipment that the college has to have to be able to do this? I'm thinking, obviously, the EKG equipment. Is there a rolling van or anything that has, some of the equipment you might use on scene if you were actually, a paramedic?
So we actually have all the equipment that you'd find on an ambulance. The college actually has a rollaway, drivable ambulance on campus. And one of the things that I'm trying to build right now is a simulation lab that'll simulate the back of an ambulance. So you walk into the sim lab room that we have now, and it looks like the back of an ambulance. We've got oxygen and suction, and we've got different equipment that you would find on the ambulance.
Do you find that the folks that seem to be interested in this are older folks who maybe are doing a career shift, or are these younger college, what we would call your normal college age students, not an adult education or a later learner or something like that? What's the mix of those that are interested in this?
It's definitely a mix. I think we have a lot more younger folks. A lot of them have aspirations of working for the fire department or becoming a flight paramedic, and so they start off young. We do have some people changing careers, but for the most part, majority of it's young students, young people that want to make a difference.
What are you excited about the most?
I'm very excited about this simulation lab. Let me tell you. So we have a high fidelity mannequin, and it talks, and it has microphones in it. So I can be in another room and see the students on camera, and I can talk to them through the mannequin as if I was the mannequin.
Really?
And And
so you can try to throw them curves and stuff like that when they're treating essentially you, the mannequin.
And that falls back to that part of the assessment process. So they ask, how is your breathing? What medications do you take? Things like that. And so we can actually have a conversation with the student. And what I really like about the sim lab is that I'm not there over their shoulders breathing down their neck. so they eliminate some of that stress, and it gives them an opportunity to practice on their own and build confidence.
And I would think that that's important because, I mean, when you say stress, the immediate, once you're on a scene, it's stress right there. It might even be stress once you start your shift and haven't even been called out yet.
Oh, sure.
It's high stress all the time, just the anticipation of what I might run into today.
And that's the shift in paramedic education today with the simulation labs, is that, it gives them the opportunity to be put in these situations where they are high stress. You've got someone with major bleeding, or someone having a heart attack, or someone that's needing CPR. And, those can be stressful for anybody. But, by having the sim lab, we can repeat that process, and we can watch it on camera, and we can say, okay, maybe next time try this, or how about looking at it this way? And so it gives them the opportunity to practice and practice and practice so that it becomes second nature to them.
It's not the type of thing you can practice in the field.
It's not.
You really can't.
Until recently with the new sim lab, or, simulation equipment, it was kind of like that. You practiced on the ambulance when you're doing clinical time, but you can't pick and choose what calls you go on. So here we can give them all the stress-related calls and help them navigate that.
What's your background? How did you get involved in this, area of study?
So I, as a young man, went in the military, and I served in the Navy for 10 years. And then I got out, and I was a parachute rigger. So there's really not a lot of civilian jobs out there for paramedics, parachute riggers. So I watched a TV show called Paramedics, and it was on the Discovery Channel. And I thought, that's cool. They're helping people, but there's lights and sirens and, all these things going on. And it was really drawn to that. So I started off as an EMT, and worked in the emergency room for a short time. And then I started working on the ambulance as an EMT. I went to paramedic school. That was 2 years. And after I graduated, I started working as a nighttime paramedic in North St. Louis County. So I got a lot of exposure, a lot of practice, and really got the opportunity to hone my skills. And then I started to look at teaching. So in 2009, I started EMS in 2000. So in 2009, I started teaching a program. I started a paramedic program over at Christian Hospital EMS, and it was pretty successful. We had some upwards of 28 students, and they all graduated, they all passed, and they're out working today. I think most of them are supervisors or educators themselves. And after that, I started to fly. I went to work on helicopter ambulance, and I flew for several years. And then, funny fact about me, I took a break from EMS, and I was a legitimate park ranger, National Park Service park ranger. While I was going to get my undergraduate, I started working at the Gateway Arch as a park ranger. So I did tours and things like that. And that lasted up until COVID hit, and then it really kind of slowed down. So I thought, I better go back to what I know best. So and then I'm just back into EMS, and I just love teaching. And I have a little bit of a different philosophy from when I went to paramedic school. A lot of paramedic schools 20 years ago were very linear. You chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't look at it that way anymore. Today I look at let's start with an introduction, and then let's look at some biology and some pathophysiology, and then let's learn airway management. Let's learn some cardiology, and then we're going to release you out into the field to practice that. And then from there, we build every day on that.
Very cool.
So before we let you go, is there a class size limit? Tell us again about if people are interested. Can they still sign up?
Oh, absolutely.
When it starts, all that kind of stuff.
So registration just started on the 21st. If you're interested, you can go to lc.edu, and you can search EMT paramedic, or if you can go to Google and type in Lewis and Clark EMT paramedic, it'll pop up with our own page. And from there, there's introduction and a little bit of information about the program. And then if you want to register, there's another link that has all the requirements that you need to have. And you can sign up there. They'll send you over to an academic advisor. They'll make sure you have all the things you need. And then you meet with me before class starts. I think our class size, we're hoping for 30, but 10 would be nice too. So we have all the resources we need. We've got numerous training mannequins and all the simulation stuff that I talked about. So we've got a large pool of adjunct instructors now, so we're ready to go.
Sounds like it's exciting, and quite an adventure some folks could embark on.
Oh, yeah. And it's one of those jobs that you can have for a career because there are always going to be people that need paramedics.
Thanks so much for being with us and giving us the background. Best of luck with the class. You'll have to keep us updated on how things go, and hopefully we can get you back in after you've had that first class.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Talk about the success stories.
Sure. I can't wait to see who he'll be next.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to take us out again?
I don't know. Should the guest?
Well, either way. You
You want to take us out? You want to yell, "We are"?
We are.
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but dental hygiene could have been my thing. Or my path could have been conservation.
Welcome back to the A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here, Cody Zipman. Maui is seated next to me, and he's bringing the festive, the Halloween theme to our podcast today. We're joined, of everything we do right here, we always say students are of utmost importance, and we've got a couple of them here on our program in this segment that we want to talk to. Abby Van Doren is from the Video Gaming Club, and Naila Simmons is from the Dawg Pound.
The Dawg Pound. Let's go.
One of the rowdiest groups of all on campus, I suspect.
I like it. Two of my favorite clubs.
Welcome to the A to Z Across LC podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Now,
sure.
Who do you want to start with? I'll let you. You're the muscle guy. I'll let you decide. Who?
Let's start with video
that's
games.
impressive.
All right.
Okay. So, Abby.
You strained a lot for that one. I had to think about it.
Easy there, Nye.
I hope he didn't pull anything over there. Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about the Video Gaming Club and how you got involved in it and what does it do?
That's a lot.
Well, you can take them one at a time.
Yeah, okay.
We'll break them down for
We
you.
can start with your fearless leader. You can tell.
I'm the president of the game club, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
The first female that the club has seen, so
Let's go.
that's really awesome.
Breaking the glass ceiling here.
Yeah,
like
and bring some women into gaming is kind of what I'm like all for. So it's cool that I've had this opportunity. Really, the game club is we try to have it's a lot. Like, you don't even have to play games to be in it. It's like a safe space for like everyone on campus, all kinds of students. We have so many different types of people. And I think that's my favorite part. There's a lot of big personalities, and it's just a really fun time overall. We play games. Meetings are every Tuesday, 5 to 7 in the Skybox. So we hang out there. Bring games, we'll go events and stuff, so it's really fun. I've enjoyed it a lot, at least.
So you say now not everybody is a gamer, but are you a gamer?
Oh, absolutely.
So what do you play? Because there's probably several favorites that you have that I'm going to confess right now I probably have never played. I'm going to guess. And Naila's agreeing, and she's.
What are your favorite games, Jeff?
I can tell.
Before they say what I can tell. Good sir.
Good sir.
Good sir.
Good sir.
What were your favorite games from the past?
Well, I like recreational sports more than the video gaming type.
What about board games?
That's board games.
Yeah.
Well, apart from the video part, I like Risk. I like.
You played Risk?
Oh, of course.
What about Scrabble?
Oh, I love Scrabble.
Scrabbler. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You a Scrabbler?
I Scrabble.
Oh, I wish they'd make that digital. That'd be
Dabble
awesome.
in Scrabble.
Aggravation?
Dabble in Scrabble.
Oh, aggravation. Is that the one that you pop the little thing? Yeah.
Oh, that's sorry. Is that
no,
sorry?
that's not sorry.
Where you pop the middle?
No,
what
that's
is the middle popper?
I don't know.
Is
I
that
can't
Trouble?
remember. Trouble.
Trouble. That's Trouble.
Trouble.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah, that's what I'm talking. You're welcome.
When in doubt, just ask the gamer.
That's true. We were struggling
Chess.
for a while there.
We do have board games.
Chess.
too,
Love
so.
chess, Monopoly.
Oh, yeah.
All of those kinds
Life.
of things.
Classic.
Life.
Monopoly.
Oh, yeah. Life was always fun. Sure.
I
So
mostly
that
play
really is
video-
take us way away from video gaming, though. But yeah.
Yeah, but when we talk gaming, it's video gaming and board gaming, right?
Yeah, it's not just video games, even though that's like the official name of the club.
Yeah.
But we have all kinds of stuff, and we have a whole subsection that plays like D&D, so we do tabletop kind of things too. Like, well, if people bring board games, card games, all sorts of things, so it's really cool to have all those options.
Cool.
So does anybody play Pong?
Ping
That
pong.
was a joke.
That's an old
No,
one.
I'm talking about
Pong.
the video.
Is that the two?
That's the two things. It's like tennis back and forth.
Yeah,
real slow.
Atari?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first.
Or
game.
the other one, Asteroids. Those are the games
Okay,
that we
first
grew up
gaming
with, right?
system. Yeah.
These, you know what? You and I are
both-
having a conversation.
Jump
They're
in
looking
here.
at each
Let's go
other and
back.
go,
Let's
"What
go
are
back.
these guys talking about?"
I thought we meant
order.
ping pong.
Well, I mean that too. We played that,
I
but this
love
is
ping
gaming.
pong.
We're gonna go gaming system, and we'll start from the first ones that we've experienced when we were kids. Ready? Good, sir.
Probably Commodore 64 was the first system, and that's
What?
that had
What is that
Pong.
What is
before
That's
Atari?
before you even. It might be before Atari.
Atari was out. I got a hand-me-down from my parents with Atari, and then Nintendo, the regular Nintendo.
Well, then
game.
I got then Nintendo. Oh yeah, no, Commodore 64 and Atari was before
Oh wow.
those. So yeah, I just go. I go back a few years.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear about what we.
No,
think.
wait.
They
This
wanna
is
hear
good
from
because
these
they would
guys.
Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, then Sony. That was
What
the
about
best Sony PlayStation.
DS?
I had a deal.
I don't think
Yes.
I never
Yeah.
had
Where's,
that.
that, where's
Wii
Xbox?
games?
Where's
Wii, I had a
Xbox
Wii.
fall in there?
I've had a couple of those. I have one now, actually.
And then went to Switch. I've heard of Switch.
Yeah,
but,
Switch is big right now.
okay. Yeah.
What's the best right now?
Probably PlayStation 5.
Honestly, PC.
Oh.
Not gonna lie.
PlayStation.
PS5.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
we should get one of those.
I remember when it was PS1 and you couldn't buy it anywhere at Christmas time, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
and that's been how far back is that? That might be 10 years
Ooh.
back for PS1.
Oh,
Yeah.
longer than that.
longer
I think.
than that.
I
Oh my,
think.
she's
Was it
making me
90s?
feel
It
old.
had to be 90s,
It's
right?
something like that.
That
It's,
far?
I
back,
remember.
for real?
Well, here's what I remember. This is
Wow.
this is a great memory. You're bringing me back right now. So
These
we're
folks weren't even born
What?
yet.
No.
I just want
They
you to
were.
10
know.
years ago.
we're
Well, no,
on
this is in the 90s.
Nine-
in the
90s
90s.
was
So
not
we're
there
on. You know the old televisions that were like furniture they used to make, right?
Yes,
You remember
of
that? Like
course
none
I
of them
do.
making it. Okay, so
Yes.
they're furniture. You got me and Corey. It's Christmas Eve. We get to open one gift. Well, we pick, and it's random.
Yeah,
We pick the PS1.
really.
And we stayed up all Christmas
Oh,
Eve night, and I had game day, and he had Tekken,
Oh, I
and we
love
played
Tekken.
game day,
I love Tekken.
and yeah, it
I've
was
never.
it was
I don't
awesome.
think I've ever played Tekken.
I haven't heard of it.
Tekken is incredible.
So it's
I love
still
Tekken.
out there. Tekken.
Yeah, it's probably
I
like
haven't
Tekken
played.
10.
Right. It's
Oh,
been a
yeah.
while.
Several
while since-
generations
Yeah,
of
it's a
it.
fighting game.
Okay, so
Imagine
let's,
that Corey getting a fighting game.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so let's move into the 2020s now, and what are the hot games out there right now?
Right now, I think a new Call of Duty actually just dropped.
Oh, yeah.
I don't play that personally, but I know that's big. A lot of Pokemon game is still really big. That's still
Really?
happening.
What's big in Pokemon? Because I was big into that too.
Personally, I'm not the hugest Pokemon person, but I have a lot of friends that are, and I think that they're still coming out with games like on the Switch. So that's
Okay.
pretty cool that that's
Do
franchise.
they still
is
do the one
going.
where you actually like go find them yourself?
Pokemon
Pokemon Go.
Yeah, is
That was big a
big
few
still?
years ago. I think the hype for that's died down a little bit, but it was still definitely like people still play it. I still have it.
Gotcha.
I feel like it was one of the biggest blow ups of games.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Kind of COVID times. That's what I remember it.
Yeah, got people
as.
outside.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's go, and we can always come back, but let's go from the video games to the Dawg Pound, and tell us how did that all come about, and your involvement, and how many are there, and what do they do, and is it all of that, all the stuff nobody knows about the Dawg Pound.
For sure. So for me, the biggest thing is student involvement with sports here on campus. I think in time we could progress with that to off campus, but you got to start small, start easy and simple so that everyone can kind of get on board with that. The biggest thing I think being that is we have to incorporate a lot of different things people may like within, like, okay, come to the Dawg Pound. Well, what do you do in the Dawg Pound? So we kind of just tell them that it's just school spirit. And it really is school spirit. A lot of people move here out of country, out of continent to come play sports for us. And when no one comes out, it's like, dang, like I have no one supporting me. At least that's what it feels like. Maybe their parents aren't here. Maybe they might not have parents that can come and support them. That's where we come in. I don't care if their parents are there. We're coming too. So I feel like it's just school spirit. We're a community as a whole, and everyone should be involved, and honestly should want to be involved, because we live basically here. We live at school.
So how many members are in the Dawg Pound roughly? I mean, I'm sure it varies, appearance by appearance, but
honestly, right now, I think we just have a few. I just joined. I talked to Daniel about it. I had a lot of ideas for things we could do and how to support the Dawg Pound. So right now, I guess what I'm doing is trying to advertise and let people know it's fun and we can make it more fun.
So put the word out, because Cody always says we've got 1.3 million viewers. So put the word out now. Get what do you want to say to those non-Dawg Pounders?
Where's that camera at? Which one?
Look straight over Maui's head. And
I see you.
Yes.
Come out to the Dawg Pound, okay? I have the email right here. I'm going to read it to you, and you better copy it down, okay? DNOSCE@lc.edu. Come out. Basically, what we do is we support our teammates. They're our teammates. It might be volleyball, it might be soccer, anything, depending on what you like to watch. Even if you don't like to watch, just come out. We do have a volleyball game tonight at 6, supporting our sophomores. We always sit on the left side of the gym that we play in here. So just come out. It's fun. Just try it for one day. Bring your friends if you want to. Sure. Naila
is like a walking billboard. She's like a walking commercial.
You're who I'm looking for a little monthly meeting to see how we can build this.
Duh, of course. No, I'm invested. I think that's something you need for the Dawg Pound, considering how small of a club it is. We're gonna get it up there. We're definitely gonna get it up there.
She's committed.
I'm telling you, she is a go-getter. I bet it doubles. Just from people, from her putting out the challenge. From 1 to 2. No, I'm sure it's bigger.
From knee to knee and me.
Knee and me.
There you go. So I still, I go back to the video gaming again, because from when I first started, well, I'm not a gamer. You obviously know that. But
you are a gamer.
I'm a gamer, but I'm not a gamer.
Anyone can be a gamer.
Yeah, well.
You can turn.
Okay.
Yes.
The challenges. She's
Can
just
you
challenging
see him
everyone.
D&D action?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't even know what D&D you're talking about.
Dungeons and Dragons.
We'll let you know soon.
We can make you a character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a character, all right. But it seems like things have shifted somewhat in video gaming. And tell me if it's right. It was more like just little racing cars around, and now it's like throwing grenades at folks and stuff like that. Is that kind of accurate? I mean, a lot of them are fighting type games, yes? Or
yeah,
no,
the more, I'd say, violent games are definitely really popular. It's like the ones like little kids can't have. Parents are like, "Oh, are you sure?"
Little kids are old guys. Neither one. We're not good with the war games. I'm not. That's just not me.
Yeah,
I'm more like driving the little guy around, or like the little
He's
guy
Mario
who had
Brothers guy.
The mushrooms. Who's the guy?
The mushroom.
Yeah,
Mario Kart.
Mario.
Mario Kart.
Yeah. And that's, you probably never played that, but
I've played some Mario Kart.
oh, okay. Well, I don't feel so bad.
That's a classic.
We
Everybody
do.
loves Mario.
I'm learning a lot.
Sometimes the
session.
simple ones are the most
The simple
fun.
ones are the best.
Right.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
Absolutely.
I long for them to continue making Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
And those simple.
The animations,
Absolutely.
they're
Yeah.
cute. They're
Yeah.
cutesy.
Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
You like
Let's
Donkey
go.
Kong?
Yeah, I used to.
Well, see, I could
Some
be
of the
in the
ones
club.
now,
If we
you
play
gotta
some
be
of
so
those, I could
complex.
be
You-
in.
you
You
need
can
like
bring an
20 different
arcade.
buttons.
It'll be good.
Let's do
Real
it.
good.
People have.
What if we did
emulators.
this and we streamed it from here?
Yeah.
It was a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be cool.
You
Gaming.
have to
podcast?
bleep out a few words,
Yeah.
but we'll be good.
That's good. Every time
good.
somebody said something, it would come in. We are. Like,
Yeah.
Are you? We are.
We are.
So how do you already mentioned how people can sign up to be part of the Dawg
course.
Pound. How can they sign up to be part of the gaming club?
Signing up for the gaming club, really, you find me, Daniel. He's also the advisor of the game club, and just ask hey, what are you guys about? We have a Discord server that we get a lot of people in, so we'll probably grab their Discord. And even if you don't, just give one of us email. We send out weekly emails, so just information about meetings and stuff.
Now, when are your meetings again?
Our meetings are on every Tuesday, 5 to 7 p.m. over in the Skybox in the Riverbend Arena.
Now, can people just show up the first time if they want to see
Absolutely.
what it's about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell them you're on You're on Instagram, and also is there some kind of, what is the Discord that they would search?
I think it's a one that you need an invite for, but we would definitely send that out if people were interested in joining the Discord. And we do have an Instagram as well. It's I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but if you just search like LC Video Game Club, it should be there.
I also feel like if you haven't been in a club before, especially here, that's the perfect one to start at, especially if you don't talk as much. We're really chill. We're really chill there. Yeah, for sure.
And now the Dawg Pound doesn't meet as such. They just gather at the
we do gather
events, right?
Yes, we do.
Oh, outside of the athletic events?
No, we gather in the gym.
Yes.
So whenever, we have like instruments and stuff there. So when we score a point, it's like, we just kind of go to war.
So all you have to do is be able to make noise to be in the Dawg Pound.
Come out. If you're angry, if you need help, come out and bang on a drum.
Get all that anger out.
Here she goes.
Get it out. It's okay.
Get it out.
It's okay because it's positivity. You know what I mean? You're switching it up. It's not going to hurt
positivity.
anyone. Anger, positivity, and gratitude and happiness that we scored a point.
I like
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, she's definitely an ambassador for.
Let's go.
Yes, absolutely.
Merci.
Well, thank both of you for being with us and sharing some information. And whenever you have an old guy tournament, let me know, and I'll see if I can work that into my schedule.
What if we just did the show from there? It's in our home base, the Skybox.
That's I don't know. We'd have to talk to our producers and see what.
Let's check in. Let me get in the back. Producer Lim, are you good with that? Yep, I got the call in. He's good with it. He's
Are
always
you a
on
golfer?
board.
Are you golf type of old guy?
You know what? Hey.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He's a fisherman expert.
Oh, I love fishing and I love
And
golf.
we could do that on gaming.
Yeah.
We could.
There's games on there.
Absolutely.
We could.
Okay. Now we're talking.
We're talking good.
Now we're talking.
Is your hair real?
Oh, yeah.
I've been staring.
I've been working
Are
on
you
this
jealous?
for a while now.
Like
I'm getting my hair done tomorrow. It's going to look better than that. But
I hope so.
I talk to Moana every once in a while because the salt water really bothers
you
it.
call her in.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I will board your boat.
Yes.
And I will sail across the ocean.
And you will. Yes.
She lets me get on there.
And did. Okay.
That could be the next video game.
Yes, it could.
It really could.
Period.
Yes.
That's good. That's good stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
Ladies, thanks for being with us. Can you take us out to our next break?
Of course.
Absolutely. We are.
We are.
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark. I got my start in the radio program that put me on the path to where I am today. We still do radio, but now we're so much more. Podcasting, producing, and editing, not to mention new equipment, studios, courses, and a new name. If you want to work in professional media or create better content for the things you love, do like I did and discover your path at Lewis and Clark Community College. Enroll today at lc.edu.
Welcome back to the A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here. Cody Zipman is here as well, and we're joined in this segment by Isaac Moore, and he is the women's head basketball coach here at Lewis and Clark Community College. Isaac, welcome to the program.
Thanks. Really happy to be back on the podcast the second time.
This is, you are now the official guy. Last time you were the interim head coach, and now everything rests on your shoulders.
No pressure.
You know.
Do you feel pressure?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime that you are entrusted with the futures of young people, there's going to be pressure, whether that's as a teacher or a coach, especially whenever players choose to play for you. Then you feel a little more pressure,
So how hard is it, or what are the differences between being the interim that has to come in mid-season and take everybody to the finish line, and then now building what will be your program? What all do you have to go through with that?
Yeah, it was very difficult. Being an interim head coach, especially with a team that you're not already an assistant on, is really unique because so much of coaching is relationship building. This off season when we're recruiting players with me and the staff, it's so much different because you have the time to meet their families. You can talk to high school coaches. You can watch them play, get to know their game a little bit. We have like fundraising events, so the players kind of meet the returners and that stuff. Whereas when you come in as an interim coach, that you don't really have a relationship. You're building that from scratch. It's really night and day. And I think that, we were able to do some things, but we're really able to build on top of that, So rather than building everything on the fly and just trying to throw together what you have, we can really build an intentional culture and have an identity that's been planned out for months. A lot of people don't know how much time has gone into meeting with assistant coaches over the summer and figuring out exactly what a good fit would look like, and then recruiting players based off of what we're going to be able to offer them so they can be confident in what it means to be part of our program.
So talk about your assistant coaches and your staff.
Yeah. So heading up the staff is Coach Lee Richardson, who does a tremendous job. He has 20 years of experience. He is a rebuilding specialist. At Crystal City, he took a team that only won 2 games, and then within a couple years, they went to a district championship game. He has a ton of experience at AAU and high school, and so last year was his first time at the college ranks. Really, really lucky to have him come back and take up more of a role. He leads our transition offense and defensive scheme, as well as our special teams, and takes care of the subbing, because anyone that's seen me coach knows I can be a little frantic. So he brings a lot of stability to our sideline. We took Coach Page from the dark side over at Principia College. She had a tremendous playing. She's a 3-year starter at Prin, and she's one of the best players to come out of Herculaneum High School. Scored over 2,000 points in high school, and so she's coming on, brings a really good mentorship, and she was a great post player. So we have some really good post players, and Paige Henson, who just had a career day against Blackburn with 34 points and 15 rebounds. So Paige has been able to really volunteer a lot of her time doing that. My dad, Albert Moore, who was my coach at one point in time, he does a lot of our recruiting coordination. So he has a ton of experience with high school coaches in Cincinnati, and he's involved in homeschool basketball. So he recruits players really all over the country. And then in Indianapolis, he goes to a ton of games, has those relationships. So, we're not just recruiting locally, but we want to make sure that we're recruiting within, the neighboring states and having an actual presence rather than just a phone call, right, with people that can know, what we offer at Lewis and Clark academically and athletically. And that's very high academic. So he wouldn't send people just anywhere, and he really does a lot of good research on behalf of our program. And then doing a lot of our film is Jimmy Richter, a former player of mine who has a really good basketball mind. Whenever players didn't know the plays, we just pass them off to Jimmy. And so he was a state champion with us, and he does a really good job with our film and our scouting so we can be prepared, because, I texted Cody one time a picture of like Marquette staff and Auburn staff. They have like 25 names on the staff, But great programs, there's a lot of work to be done. We want to make sure we're giving our student athletes the very best experience. And then last but definitely not least is Haley Rogers, who's a student assistant for us and is about to graduate early. So she's starting her college coaching career a little early with the student assistant role. And she's been doing a tremendous job with player development, really investing in the players' lives. Last year we had no women on staff, so having 2 young women that can relate to the players and maybe give me some perspectives that I don't see and the other coaches don't see has been invaluable early on. And I'm ecstatic to see where we go with all of that support for these young women.
I suspect that there are very few people out there that realized that just this one program was that complex, where you have all of these ancillary pieces that are also part of a community college program. Is that rare? Is that customary? Or?
It's not rare for the elite programs, but it is rare.
It's great to answer, Isaac.
the elite programs, they know it's not a one-person job, no matter how good you are at doing it. I'm a huge coaching fan. So I'm just like, all the coaches, I listen to the podcast and watch the videos. And one thing that coaches talk about is their coaching tree. Rick Pitino has a coaching tree, and Tony Bennett has his coaching tree, and Doc Rivers has a coaching tree. And what that means is it's a team effort. So all that success, people say Doc Rivers won the championship, or they say Tony Bennett won the national championship, or Dan Hurley lately has been winning his championships. But that's not just him. It's a whole tree of people. On the NFL side, you see it with the McVay coaching tree or the Shanahan coaching tree. Great teams have a team of individuals that are all working towards a top common goal. And although the headlines are always the head coach, it takes so much effort from so many people. And so elite programs, those coaches know they can't do it on their own, and they're very quick to get the support they need while maintaining their standards and their culture.
And your season is just right around the corner, getting ready to ramp up here into heavy playing time.
Yeah. November 1st, big day. November 1st with Jeffco on the road. We go on the road at Lincoln Trail on the 5th, and then on the 8th we're at Ren Lake, and then we go at Vincennes. And we start off with 8 road contests between our preseason and our games. Then we have our first home game, the 19th versus Swick, which will be a tremendous game. Swick has a great program. Denny does a great job over there. So trying to build that up and really have our compete level there. And then we'll be going to Chicago on the 22nd and 23rd. So November is a big road test for us. I know I have a team that's going to compete in those tests, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be on the road trips. If you play college sports, those are the best. You're going out to eat. You're doing your homework. For all the girls players are listening, we're doing our homework, and you get to know each other and the coaches really, really well. So I'm really excited for it.
Are there any built-in rivalries for the Lewis and Clark program just by nature? I mean, I would think Swick might be one of those.
I mean, he just guaranteed a win against Swick.
Well, I know.
Called out Coach Divio. That's what I heard on this.
Yeah,
right here.
exactly.
I didn't quite do that, but I will guarantee. I will guarantee we're gonna put up a fight, and we're gonna take at least 3 charges that game. If you guys come to the first home game and there's not 3 charges, I might, have. I'll guarantee at least that. There's not too many built in. I think there's some teams that might have a little bit natural, but when you're new to a program as a coach, and we have a lot of new players in, we get to build that from scratch. So Swick will be a fun one because they play really hard. They have a former Civic Memorial coach, and that's local. So I naturally want to give them their run for their money. And then Principia College naturally has one. So I love that we got to play them preseason. I think that's a fun way to get to know the team. Is back and forth. It's so close down the street. Coach Rowe does a really good job too. He recruits a lot of local kids. So there's some kids that I wanted that ended up over there. So there's not bad blood, but you obviously want to compete there. And then in conference play, we have so many good teams and so many good coaches that have been there for years. So I have my own secret. I can't say this out loud in the podcast. I'm not giving them any bulletin board material. We have enough rankings in our conference. But there's 4 or 5 coaches that I look up to that I'd like to get 1 or 2 at their spot.
Should I say that then?
I'm not going to say who the coaches are, but there's at least 4 or 5 teams in our conference that getting a win against them, I'll feel good about it.
Extra special.
Yeah, it'll be special.
Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Isaac, I just watch you coach and stuff, and so far this year, literally, I feel like you, if not the toughest team, one of the toughest teams that we have, which is why I'm so excited about this year to see what happens. How'd you get to that state?
It's a great question. So number one, the way I was raised, I had 8 siblings, and there was 6 boys. My mom
had to fight for everything.
Yeah, I like the lunch table. I remember I was at when I first day at college. We had it's college buffet style, so you have as much food as you need. And my teammates go, and I sit down, and I eat all my food in 7 minutes, and they're like, "Dude, slow down. There's plenty coming, but if you didn't eat your food quick, there's no leftovers, right? So you gotta go, and it's kind of fastest first. And then in college sports is so difficult, and so we had 18 or 19 players, and competing every day in practice became something I took a lot of pride in as a player. And then all of that, from being a teacher coach in St. Louis Public, as a coach, I wanted to instill some of those values to my players and students who are just naturally really tough. A lot of these kids had really rough obstacles. And all of that culminated at Webster Groves High School with the Jay Blossom, Justin Mathis, Mark Munsterman program, Coach Dawg Pound. They built in this incredible toughness with you have to play the hardest. Their mantra, I've stolen shamelessly, the TTW, toughest teams win. And that's what we're going to strive to be. And so, and then in the women's game, a lot of players, I think there's an incorrect assumption that women aren't tough. And so as a coach, I was excited to kind of see, can the women's game be tough? Can we take charge and dive? And I've been so proud of the effort and the toughness that we've been able to recruit this year. We're going to lose some games, but whenever the other coaches come and say, hey, your girls play really, really hard, they play really, really tough, there's some pride that comes with that because of how I was raised and what I think breeds championship cultures. So I'm really happy to bring that here, and I really am excited that people will see that team, and whether it's in the classroom or the weight room or study hall, they say that's a group of young women that are tough. They really let it all out there.
So let's talk players in the little bit of time that we have left. Do some name dropping. Who should we watch for this year?
Paige Henson is going to have a superstar year. She's a really, really hard worker. She's great in the classroom. She's going to be playing at the next level after this one, and it's going to be a really good school. She's already had broken records in our preseason stuff of hers, and she has a lot more work to do. Cora Kazi is a tremendously special player in person, is the leader on our team, and one of our most sought-after recruits, Brenna Langenberg. She chose us over a lot of other JUCOs. She was a former D3 player, was a really good starter as a freshman in the SLIAC, and she brings a great amount of tremendous leadership too. And then we have some fun freshmen. Abby Kreitner. Abby plays super hard. She's really, really tough. She comes from Little Town Steelville, and I think she was really under-recruited because she has a lot more heart than she does height. She's only 5 foot, but don't tell her that because she plays bigger than much bigger than most of the players that we'll play against all year. Latasia Deloney out of Alabama is really, really fun to watch. She loves to defend. She plays super hard. She attacks the rim, and she's really developed her shooting ability. I really would talk about each one of my players.
Sure.
So I'm going to give you 2 seconds for the rest of them. Obviously, Rachel does a great job. She's from Utah, furthest away, with Lena from California. They're adding some really fun skill sets for our team. And then Raylan has already had some big games. She'll develop. She reminds me a lot of Paige last year, where she has a really high ceiling. She's ready to work hard for that. And then obviously Kelsey Jones, the local player we have coming back. She can shoot the ball. She likes to defend. She likes to foul, which, that puts her with Emily Johnson, who is the toughest post player. I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to end there with everybody. So, we have a great group of players coming in, really fun staff, fun environment in the women's basketball team.
Just as a last question for me, at least, is it hard when you're trying to build a group that probably hasn't reached its peak yet? But I also know, because I can tell the drive that you have, there's not a game you should lose on your schedule. I know that's how you feel. How do you balance that? Because you want to win them all, but we're still growing, we're still developing, and that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
How do you balance all that as a coach and make sure that the girls understand that as well?
Yeah, the big thing is I don't want to coach a team I don't believe in. So I let them know. So win or loss, we move on from games within a day. We have the game, we have the film, we watch the film, then we move on. And so, I label this team the most important team in women's basketball at Lewis and Clark history. That's what I label them as, because I know that there's things that are more important than the wins and the losses. And it sounds crazy to say that. Now, by the time you get to March, that is the most important thing. But early on, it's you have to, number one, you have to figure out how to love your teammates. You have to figure out how to do that if you're going to be any good. You have to figure out how to do all the small things right. You have to show up to class. You have to work hard. You have to be a great person, right? And then the third thing is we have to execute and compete. Once you take care of those, there are things that aren't going to bounce your way, but you'll see that at any sport, at any level, championship teams, sometimes they do go undefeated, sometimes they don't, but they always do the right thing. And sometimes we'll get coaches and players in trouble because they're so stubborn. Like, you look at the best football coach of all time got fired or let go or whatever because he's so stubborn about what he believes builds championships. And so I'm really excited about those little things. I know they lead to wins. I know that toughness that Cody, that you mentioned, I know that leads to championships. I've been there. And it won't always lead to them. You're going to lose. There's plenty of great teams. We play, like I said, in a great conference. But if you do those little things, it's going to be really, really fun. And it's going to be very, very worth it because you invested everything you needed to.
Cody, it sounds very, very positive and very enthusiastic and exciting. That's for sure.
I'm just happy we had the guarantee against Swick on this podcast.
If we get that's all you need.
The guaranteed national title run that I heard this year, and the guaranteed undefeated season. That's what I heard. I'm glad we had it on this podcast.
So you've already
no pressure at all, Coach.
you've already got the trophy case built and everything.
Oh, it's already in the bag. Yeah. I sent it off to NJCA, all the ADs. We got it ordered.
Well, Coach, thanks for being with us. Thanks for the positive outlook, and we wish you and your team all the best success this year and beyond. And it sounds like that you certainly have things pointed in the right direction. So
absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. And come to games. We have that game against Swick, which they don't have a bulletin board big enough for what Cody had given them there. And then we have a ton of home games in December. So please come out to some games. We'd love to have you there. The girls have been working hard. They're ready to show out.
All right, Cody, I think that's all we have for today. You want to send us out?
Take us out.
We are
LC